Hello viewers, welcome to my video series on carbohydrates. In our discussion on the structure of carbohydrate molecules, so far I have described two types of structures. First were Fischer projections, which were open chain structures, and second were Haworth structures, which were closed rings. Viewers, although both these types of structures give a pretty good idea of the number of substituents on any given carbon atom and the nature of bonds also, but they don't say anything about the structure of molecule in 3 dimensions, means the stereochemistry of the molecule. So in order to have an idea of the stereochemistry, we have to consider another representation of carbohydrate structures, which is called conformations. So conformations are initially described with reference to the stereochemistry of cyclohexane molecules, and as you know that cyclohexane is an aliphatic molecule and has a closed structure. So it's a closed aliphatic molecule having the formula C6H12. Here is the structure of cyclohexane, and this is the skeleton of cyclohexane. So two types of structures are described with reference to cyclohexane, which are called boat and chair conformations. So let us see these two representations in cyclohexane first and get our basics clear. So first let me give you an idea behind the conformations of cyclohexane. First let me tell you that you may be wondering why I am talking about the conformations with respect to cyclohexane. So first let us see that here is a cyclohexane molecule which is represented as this hexagonal structure. This is a hexagon in plane. So the angle between adjacent bonds ought to be 120 degree. So there appears to be no problem in this structure. But once you consider that all these carbon atoms are having sp3 hybridization. So all these carbon atoms are having sp3 hybridization, and because of this sp3 hybridization in 3 dimensions they are represented as a tetrahedron. This is a tetrahedron. So because of this sp3 hybridization, each carbon atom can be represented as a tetrahedron, and you know that the angle between any two bonds in a tetrahedron is 109 degree 28 dash. Because of this sp3 hybridization, the angle between two bonds is 109 degree 28 dash. So when we consider this aspect, then this structure of cyclohexane no longer remains planar, and it adopts two types of conformation. There are two main conformations, but there are other transitory forms, intermediate forms also. These two conformations are called boat conformation and chair conformation. In case of boat conformation, if you see that this is symmetrical around the axis, so what you see here, this side is exactly the reflection of this side. So these two sides are same. But in case of this chair conformation, you see that this is anti-symmetrical. Means what is here, this side is exactly opposite to this side. So these are two conformations in case of cyclohexane. So next we will see how this idea applies to the structures of carbohydrates. Here you see a cyclohexane molecule which can be represented in two alternative chair conformations, which can be interconverted, and an interconversion between these two conformations is called chair flip. We will see how the chair flip is done, but first let us see the rules of drawing a particular chair conformation. Here I explain to you the rules for drawing a chair conformation. First what we do is that we draw two parallel lines, and then we make this chair structure. Then we number it. Maybe we start from here. This is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. We number the 6 carbons, and now we have to make 2 bonds on each carbon atom, and in this you have to see that each carbon atom of the chair has two types of bond. One are called axial bond, which are either straight up or straight down, and second type are equatorial bonds, which are angled slightly up or angled slightly down. And these axial and equatorial bonds alternate in up and down orientation on adjacent carbon. So I'll show you how. For example, on carbon 1, this is axial, up, this is axial up. You can see this is axial up. On the next, it will be axial down, and on the third, it will be again axial up. On fourth, it will be axial down. On fifth, it will be axial up, and on sixth, it will be axial down. So this axial up, then axial down, then axial up, axial down, then axial up, then axial down. Now come to equatorial bonds. If there is an axial bond in up orientation, the equatorial bond will be in down orientation, and these equatorial bonds are straightened. So when we make these bonds, I am making it with green. For example, here this is axial up, then the second hydrogen will be equatorial and it will be down. So for making equatorial down, we will just make it like this. So this is going down. So this is equatorial down. On the next, we have axial down, so it means we will have equatorial up. So this is just straight with a slightly upward angle. So this is equatorial up. The same pattern will follow. Here it is axial up, then it will be equatorial down. Here it is axial down, so it will be equatorial up. Again here it is equatorial axial up, equatorial down, and then this is axial down, then equatorial up. So this is how we can convert this cyclohexane planar structure into this chair conformation. And now you may wonder how to make the alternative chair conformation that I had drawn before this slide. That is called chair flip. So in the next slide we will see the chair flip. Now here we are going to see a chair flip. As you see here, that this is cyclohexane planar molecule, and this is the chair conformation that I have just drawn. In this you saw that axial means red bonds and equatorial, which I have shown in green, are alternating in up and down orientations on adjacent carbon. Means here it is axial up, then it is axial down, then axial up, axial down, axial up, axial down. And on the carbon where there is axial up, the equatorial is in opposite orientation. Means if it is axial up, then it is equatorial down. If it is axial down, then it is equatorial up. Now let us see what happens when we flip the chair. So what happens, then what you do, you just rotate this, bring this carbon 1 to this position, and when you do this, then what will happen, this red bond will come to this side, and this axial will become, but this is up, so it will be up, but it will be, now it will be equatorial. Then on second, and when it will be equatorial up, then it means axial will be down. So you can follow the pattern from here. This is axial down, then next will be axial up, then axial down, then axial up, axial down, axial, and accordingly you follow the pattern for equatorial. So this is equatorial up, then it will be equatorial down, then it will be equatorial up, equatorial down, equatorial up, equatorial down. So this is what happens when we flip a chair. And what is the takeaway? What is the rule that you get from here? You see that all the bonds that were axial in this orientation have become equatorial in this orientation. But what was up is up here also. See, this was axial up here. See, this is axial up here on carbon 1, the bond that was axial up, now it is equatorial up. And what was equatorial down, now it is axial down. We can see for other carbon atoms also. For example, for carbon 2, this was equatorial up, and here you see that it has become axial up, and this was axial down, and now it is equatorial down. So what is the rule that we get? Rule is that every axial bond in this orientation becomes equatorial in this orientation, and every equatorial bond in this orientation becomes axial in this orientation. But remarkably, you see, what is up here is also up here, and what is down here is also down here. So what happens when we flip a chair? When we flip a chair, all axial bonds change into equatorial bonds, but up and down orientation is retained. So this is very important for you to understand. This is the rule that when we flip a chair conformation, then all axials change into equatorials and all equatorials change into axials, but all up remain up and all down bonds remain down. Now after getting our basics clear in case of cyclohexane, let us apply these rules to carbohydrate structures. For example, we will see the structure of glucose molecule. Viewers, this is a very important slide in which I am going to explain to you how to convert Haworth structure into chair conformation. So as you have seen previously, and I explained in a previous video, that this is the Fischer projection for glucose molecule, and these are alpha D and beta D glucose, two anomers, and you see the position and numbering of carbon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and the position of H and OH around these chiral carbons is important. I have explained it earlier, and I also explained this Haworth structure. Now you have to see how these Haworth structures will transform into chair conformations. So this is very important for you to see that this is the important rule, the key that you have to remember, that in converting from Haworth structures to chair conformations, up and down remain same, and next axial and equatorial bonds alternate, as I have explained in the previous slide. So here you see that what is up in Haworth is also up in this chair conformation, and what is down in Haworth is also down in chair conformation. For example, you see that on carbon 1 H is up, here also H is up on carbon 1, On carbon 2 H is up, again H is up. On carbon 3 OH is up, so on carbon 3 OH is also up. On carbon 4 H is up, here also H is up. And on carbon 5 CH2OH is up, so here also CH2OH is up. So what is up and what is down is conserved here. But you see what changes is that the nature of axial and equatorial bonds, and these bonds alternate on adjacent carbons. In the previous slide you saw that I started from this point, but in this structure here there is no carbon, here we have oxygen, but we started from axial up in this position. So here we don't have this position. So had there been a carbon here, it would have been axial up, and on the next it would have been equatorial up. So we will leave this and we will start from axial up, then equatorial up, then axial up, equatorial up, axial up, equatorial. This is pretty much the same pattern that I explained in the previous slide. So this is chair conformation of alpha D glucose, and this is the chair conformation of beta D glucose. Viewers, another important aspect of these conformations has to do with the stability of a molecule, and I have to tell you that axial positions are vertically upwards or vertically downwards, whereas equatorial positions are horizontally spread out, slightly upwards or slightly downwards. So whenever we have to look for the stability of a given molecule, we have to see the substituents, the placement of substituents. If the bulky substituents are axial in position, then there is lot of interaction going on between axial components, and the molecule is going to be unstable. So whenever there are bulky substituents on carbon atoms, they have to be in equatorial positions. So here if you see in alpha D glucose, this OH is here it is axial, equatorial, 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 and this CH2OH is equatorial. So all these bulky groups are OH and CH2OH. So all these OH are in equatorial positions except this. This OH is in axial position, which is unfavorable. So making this molecule unstable, slightly unstable. As you know that alpha D glucose is less common than beta D glucose, and most of the glucose that naturally occurs is beta D glucose. So the reason for that is beta D glucose is more stable, and here you see why is it so. In beta D glucose, if you see, this OH is equatorial, this OH is also equatorial, this OH is equatorial, this OH is equatorial, and this CH2OH is also equatorial. So here all the bulky groups are placed in equatorial positions, means all of them are spread out. So that makes the molecule more stable, because there are very little or no interactions between bulky groups, because they are far spread out compared to this where OH is in axial position, giving rise to certain unfavorable interactions that make this alpha D glucose unstable, slightly unstable compared to beta D glucose. So whenever you are asked about the greater stability of beta D glucose compared to alpha D glucose, you can furnish this reason, which is based on stereochemistry and chair conformation of this molecule, glucose molecule. Finally, in the last slide, I wish to explain the conversion of chair conformations into boat conformations. As you know that boat conformations are alternative structures to chair conformations, but have a different pattern. So here you see how you may convert a chair conformation into boat conformation in case of carbohydrate. Here you see the conversion in case of alpha D glucose and beta D glucose. In the previous slide, I have explained the pattern of forming chair structures. Now here you have to just focus on how this chair conformation can be converted to boat conformation. So students, you see that whatever is up in chair conformation will remain up in case of boat conformation also, and whatever is down in case of chair conformation will remain down in case of boat conformation also. But one interesting change will take place, whereas in chair conformation you saw that we were drawing one axial, then one axial down, then axial up, then axial down, then axial up, then axial. So axial bonds we are drawing in alternating fashion from one carbon to adjacent carbon. This thing breaks down in case of port conformation. So here you see this is the axis of symmetry. Again, axis of symmetry. So this thing, what you see here and what you see here, here axial, here in case axial up, axial down, axial up, axial down, like this. This goes on in alternating fashion. But in case of boat, you see axial up, axial down, then again axial down, then axial up. So here there is difference for carbon 1 and carbon 2. So the rest, see, carbon 3, 4, 5 is exactly same as it was in chair conformation, but carbon 1 and carbon 2 becomes different. Means what is up remains up and what is down remains down, but axial becomes equatorial and equatorial becomes axial in case of carbon 1 and carbon 2 when you consider boat conformation. Now talking about the stability of boat conformation, as I said earlier that the bulky groups should be in equatorial position for greater stability. You see that in boat conformation, you see this OH in alpha D glucose, this OH is in axial position, which makes the structure unstable. But in beta glucose, you see instead of one there are two OH which are in axial positions, which makes this boat conformation even more unstable. So whereas in chair conformation of beta D glucose, which is the most stable form, all the OH groups, bulky groups, are spread out in equatorial positions. In boat conformation for beta D glucose, there are two OH groups in axial position, which makes the structure unstable. So both alpha D glucose and beta D glucose are unstable in boat conformation. So what is the inference from this? That the most stable conformation of glucose is beta D glucose, and that too in chair conformation. So the chair conformation of beta D glucose is the most stable form. So that's all for this session. In the next session I will be discussing polysaccharides. So now when you have studied the structure patterns of sugars, you are in a very good position to understand polysaccharide structures, because in polysaccharide structures you may often encounter structures in this chair conformation. Thank you.